Hi, I'm Nathan Allshouse. I'm the president of Sacramento Developer Collective, and we're here at Capital Creative Showcase with one of our progressive game jam teams who made a game called Judgment Day. So, Kevin Hodge, why don't you give yourself kind of an intro and kind of talk about your team, and then we'll kind of go around and introduce everybody.
Right. Hi, I'm Kevin Hodge. I am the producer, and I also have been doing the sound design and the composition, the musical writings, and all that for the game. So the game itself is it's a top-down 2D puzzle game where you go around, and first your character dies. Then, after you die, you wind up in this purgatory that looks suspiciously like it's in hell, and you have to solve puzzles in order to get out. So
Interesting.
Mhm.
And your teammate, Jen? You want to
And
introduce
I'm
yourself?
Jen. I worked as the narrative design. I wrote the story. I also did a little bit of pixel art here and there for the intro and outro stuff. And I also kind of worked as the project manager as well. So that was
Excellent.
my contribution.
Okay, so yeah, about the game, I mean, you kind of mentioned that it's like almost like a little, you're in purgatory or not. I guess like when you start the game, kind of it's like, you don't really know what's going on. Is there anything else? Because we're going to go ahead and watch this trailer here pretty quick. Anything else you want to kind of set up for the trailer? Anything, about what they're going to see?
The puzzles are all box based. That would be probably the only other thing that I could do to set it up, but that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and roll into the trailer and watch that, and then we'll kind of we'll come back around and talk after that. So there was the video for Judgment Day. Interesting. I made a game called Good God for one of the global game jams that had a goat. So when I saw your goat in the beginning of the trailer, I was kind of like, oh, that's cool. Goats always belong in video games. So this was one of the Progressive Game Jam 2020 games, and there was a lot of firsts this year for Progressive Game Jam. This was the first year that we had professional mentors from EA Capital Games. This was the first time that we actually instituted an executive producer role to kind of have that simulated real world, working for a computer game company type role. This was the first global pandemic that Progressive Game Jam has ever had to deal with. And subsequently actually moving to the first online only edition of Progressive Game Jam. Tell us about that. Tell us about what the experience was and, going through all these different firsts and all the changes that we made and all the changes that happened in Progressive Game Jam this year and kind of what that meant to you, what it was like, and, how did that impact the game development?
I will say, yes, it was tougher. And yes, I will admit, I do think that the game would have had a better quality to it had it not been for the pandemic.
Right.
I will fully admit that. But I do feel that from just the standpoint of working on it, I think that we've been able to learn a lot from it. I know I myself have learned a lot about what the challenges and difficulties are when you have a member drop out or when you have to have a new member come in mid-project, the different things that go into that. And, sometimes even when it's not in the midst of a pandemic and there is that sense of normalcy, sometimes it just happens that someone new has to be brought onto the team. So it's really good to have experience with things like that, so that the next time that something like that may happen, I'll be able to go, oh, I remember this, and I'll know how to deal with it much better.
Yeah, we actually have had very similar problems in the past, just for normal life things. I mean, even not without a pandemic. I mean, people kind of come and people go. It's a
Yeah.
big commitment. It's not like doing a weekend game jam. It's it's a 6 month long project. It's like having a second job, and so it is a challenge that every season we see similar. So I'm glad that you got through it. I mean, the game looks great, and I kind of hope to see more of it and see you kind of take it further and stuff like that. So, what was the most challenging part of developing the game? I mean, other than the pandemic, because obviously that was a big part of it. But I mean,
Yeah.
like from a mechanics standpoint, all that kind of stuff. Was there anything that really just was kind of a serious challenge that because I've made a number of games myself. In every game, there always seems to be that one thing that really just kind of like that gets you, and you have such a hard time. You kind of beat your head trying to figure out how to actually get by it. Was there anything like that in this game that kind of posed the biggest challenge?
I think it's because since it was our first as a team and everything, it was the game design part that took a long time
Yeah.
to really settle down. Kevin can go more into that because he was able to create graphs and
Yeah. So I didn't know at the time, because like it was my first time doing game design in any capacity, and I didn't realize the sense of urgency that there is to it. Like I understood the aspect of it that has to do with you want to make the game really good, and you want it to make it in a sense that players will love it when they play it. There's that half to it, but I didn't realize that the other half is there where you also want to make it quickly, because the sooner you get it done, the sooner the rest of your team can start working on it. And I didn't
Right.
realize that until really far in, like a month in. And so like that was when I was like, oh shoot. And by the time you realize it, it's like there goes a full month.
It sounds like you guys had a good lesson learning progressive game jam where you can learn quite a bit, and that's good. That's kind of what we're doing the project for. What was your most exciting thing about the game?
for me it was the intro.
The
Yeah.
intro.
Yeah.
Like I had a lot of fun doing that, and I'm kind of glad I did, and especially since it's the first thing that everyone sees when they're opening up the game. And I've gotten feedback on how a lot of people enjoyed the humorous take on it.
Yeah. I agree. I also really like the intro. Yeah, Jen, you did a really good job on it. And I think I'm also just I do like just the project in general, Like it's not a AAA game, but it's something that we were able to make starting out from nothing in a Unity editor,
Right.
And for me that is a first. So, it's something that I am kind of proud of,
Cool. All right. Well, thank you
Great.
very much, and I'm very happy you guys actually decided to be a part of Capital Creative Showcase this year. This is Kevin Hodge and Jenny Yao from Judgment Day Progressive Game Jam team, and thank you very much. Back to you guys.